Hello all, welcome to my channel. I am Vivek Gaurav and I'll be teaching you dynamic programming. And before we proceed further, a humble request from my side. Please like and subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video is coming up. Now, let's get started. In this video, we are going to talk about Python list, and the topics that we have for today is that what is a list, what is the characteristic of a list, what are the different list operation that we have, and we'll be talking about list built-in functions. Okay, and again, I'll be suggesting you that you stop the video from time to time and do the hands-on with me so that you have a better understanding about it. Okay, so let's start. So list is something we have already discussed before, but this is going to be a detailed video about the list. We'll talk about everything that is there in Python about list. Okay, so a list in Python is used to store the sequence of various types of data. Okay, it is just like an array. If you are aware of array in other programming language like C, C++, Java, so what you do there is that you create a array with a square bracket and that contains data of one type. Like if I talk about C or C++, so you create an array like this. Okay, and here you specify the size, and this can contain items of only one data type. Since I have specified int here, so it is going to contain only int. But list in Python is a bit different. How it works here is that a list in Python is used to store the sequence of various types of data. It means what? Here you can create a list like this, which is done again with a square bracket, but here you can have 1, you can have 3.14, which is a decimal. So this is integer, this is float, you can have Vivek, you can have anything, you can have a mix of all of them, all of different type of data. And Python lists are mutable types. It's mean we can modify its element after it has been created. We can modify the element of a list. However, Python consists of 6 data types that are capable to store the sequence, but the most common and reliable type is the list. Okay, the most common and reliable type is list. Okay, it has 6 data types that are capable to store the sequence, but list is the most reliable and most common among them. And a list can be defined as a collection of values or items of different type. If you have to define list, that what is a list, it is a collection of values or items of different types. Okay, the items in the list are separated by the comma and enclosed with the square bracket. Now this is an important part. They are always separated by a comma. You separate the comma, you separate the items by comma, and then you enclose it in a square bracket. So the general syntax I can say like that: list1 equal to square bracket item1 comma item2 comma, like that. Okay, like that you can create. Now item1, item2 can be of integer, float, or it is a string. If it is a string, then you must enclose in a single quote or double quote. So let's proceed further. So here you look at this. A list can be defined as follow. We are declaring an L1. Okay, L1 equal to John 102 USA. Now you see John is a string, so it is enclosed inside double quote. USA is a string, it is enclosed inside double quote. 102 is a number, is an integer, it is just like that. L2, which is of integer type only, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if we try to print the type of L1 L2 using the type function, it will come out to be as list. So let us go and type this one in the editor and understand that. So you have L1 equal to and then square bracket, and let's write ABC, and then we will write 1 2 3 comma 3.14, and then we will create another we'll create with a single quote here. Let's type its string here, and then let's create L2 equal to square bracket 1 comma 2 3 4 5 6. Let us try to use the type function to print to check the type of that. So type of L1 we will print that, and print type of L2. Okay, so it is going to give me string in both the cases. See, it is giving me class list, it is giving me class list. So this is how the list works. And if I directly want to print the list, I can directly write print L1, and if I try to print L2, I can directly print that L2. So it is going to give me the list item, you see, and it is coming in the square bracket. Okay, it is coming in the square bracket. I hope you can see it, and I am not, I'm not coming in between the text. Okay, so now I think it is visible, right? So you can see here that the list is coming here. So this is how the list is created in Python, and you can see the type of it. Going further, talking about the characteristic of a list. So the list has the following characteristic. The lists are ordered. Okay, it means the first item is the first item, the second item is the second item. They will always come in order. The element of the list can be accessed by the index. Index means what? So let's suppose you are creating a list 1 equal to 1 2 3 4 and then USA. Okay, so they have an index, it has an index, just like an array they have an index, right? So the first index is always start with 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So if I want to access USA, what I should do is that I should write list 1, and then in the square bracket I should give the index list 1 4. So it is going to give me what? It is going to give me USA. The list are the mutable type, it means you can modify it. Okay, and then a list can store the number of various element. Okay, it can store the number of various element that you want. Okay, so these are the characteristic of a list. So let's check the first statement that are ordered. So here we are creating a list. A is equal to 1 2 Peter, 4.5 Ricky, and 5, and then 6. And then we are creating B, which has the same item 1 2 5 Peter, 4.5 Ricky, and 6. And if I try to print A equal to B, I'm going to get false. Although the items are the same, but the ordering is different here. So here both lists have consisted of the same element, but the second list changed the index position of the fifth element. Here you see 6 5, which was there, right? Here it is coming as 0 1 2 3 4 and 5, but here it is coming as 0 1 2 second position, right? So that violates the order of the list. When compare, it returns false. Let's try and check this out. Okay, so here if I create like this, L1 equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and then I create another list L2 equal to, and then I write 1 comma 2 comma 4 comma 3 comma 5. I changed one order. Okay, and then I try to print L1 equal to L2, then you see what happens. I'm going to get false, right? But if I change the order to 3, and then if I change the order to 4, and then if I try to print it, now I'm getting true. Okay, so this is what it means, they are ordered. If I change the order, the two lists are different. The two lists are no more same, they have become two different lists. Okay, now you see 4 and 3 has been interchanged, so it is going to give me false. So this is what it means by the order. Okay, ordered. Now list maintain the order of the element for the lifetime, and that's why it is ordered collection of object. And if you will try with this, which we already tried, same order, you are going to get true, because this time both are the same list. Okay, let's have a look at the list example in detail. So here we have employee, which is John 102 and USA. We have department 1 CS and 10. We have department 2, which is IT and 11. Then we have HOD CS 10 Mr. Holding. HOD IT we have 11 Mr. Bevan. And if you try to print all the employee data, and this time you see how I am printing it. I am printing it using the format specifier percentile S percentile D, like that. Okay, using the percentile symbol. So name colon percentile S, ID colon percentile D, country colon percentile S, and then I am printing here, you see employee of 0, employee of 1, employee of 2. So what is employee of 0? Employee of 0 is John. So John is going to come here. Employee of 1 is 102 and employee of 2 is USA. So it is going to print me like that. You see here, John 102 USA. Okay, then what we are doing is that we are printing the department. So if I print the department, so here you see department, and then I am printing name, department 1 name percentile S, ID percentile D, department. Okay, department 2 name percentile S, ID percentile, ID equal to percentile S, and then here what we are doing is that department 1 of 0, department 2 of 1. So this will be replaced by department 1 0. What is department 1 0? CS. Okay, then ID percentile D will be replaced by department 2 1, which is department 2 1 is what? Department 2 1 is IT. Department 2 1 it is, right? Department 2 1. Then department 2 0. Okay, and then department 2 1. Department 2 0 is what? Department 2 0 is IT only, and department 2 1 is what? 11. So like that it is going to print all the item, and you can use it. Okay, you can print them using different thing. And then we are printing the HOD details, print CS HOD details percentile S, ID equal to percentile D, and then we have CS1 CS0. So CS1 CS0 is what? 10, and then Mr. Holding. So it is going to print, sorry, first we are printing 1, so first Mr. Holding will come here, name Mr. Holding will come here, and then in the second case the department 0 will come, department 10 will come, right? Because 10 is the department name. So like that it works. And if you will try to print the type of all of them, you are going to get list only, because all of them are list, right? So here you see class list, class list, class list, class list, class list, all of them are coming. So like that you can try. Okay, so let me just make a simple example, not that much in detail. So here let's suppose I am creating HOD equal to, and then I am creating a list like IT CSE. These are the two HOD I am creating, and then I am printing the HOD details are percentile S and percentile S, and here I'm going to write percentile, and here I'm going to write what? Here I'm going to write HOD and then 0 and then comma, and then I'm going to write HOD of 1. Okay, and if I try to print it, see what I'm getting. The HOD details are IT and CSE. If I replace 1 here and if I replace 0 here, then it will come CSE and IT. Okay, it is going to come as CSE and IT. You see now, CSE and IT, right? So this is how the list works. Okay, I hope that you understood it, and you can try this example in detail. Okay, you can try this example in detail, and then you can see in this way you will learn one more thing about that, you know, how this print formatting works, right? You can try with that. Okay, so now in the above example we have created the list which consists of the employee and the department detail and printed the corresponding details. And observe the above code to understand the concept of list better. This is what I wanted you to do, basically, to understand the concept of list and the indexing. Because indexing, always remember that indexing, whenever this word is going to come, okay, it is always going to start with 0, 0, 1, 2, like that. Okay, for you it might be the first element, but for computer the indexing start as 0. Okay, remember that. So now list indexing and splitting. So the indexing is processed in the same way as it happens with the string. If you remember the string, if I am writing hello, then what used to happen? H is 0, E is 1, 2, 3 and 4, like that. Indexing used to happen. So the same indexing process is being followed in list also. The element of the list can be accessed by using the slice operator using the square bracket. Okay, and the index start from 0 and goes to the length minus 1. It goes to the length minus 1. So let's suppose that you have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length of this string is 5. So it is going to start with 0 index and it is going till 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. So it is going to end with from 0 to 4. This is how it is going to go, the indexing. And this is what it is: 0, 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Fifth element, the 5, which is the fifth element, is actually at the fourth index. Okay, so the first element of the list is stored at the 0th index, the second element of the list is stored at first index, and so on. Look at this example. Here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these are the element, and this element are exactly in the same index also. 0 is at index 0, 1 is at index 1, 2 is at index 2, 3 is at index 3, 4 is at index 4 and 5 is at index 5. So when you try to access list of 0, okay, this slice operator using the square bracket, there you are providing the index number, so you will get what? You are pointing to 0. When you are writing 1, you are pointing to 1. When you are writing 2, you are pointing to 2. 3 for 3, 4 for 4 and 5 for 5. Now coming to that colon, okay, colon slicing. Here you see, when you write list 0 colon nothing, it is going to start from the 0 position till the very end of the list, so it is going to give you the complete thing. When you write colon colon, again you will get the whole of the list. When you write colon 2 colon 4, 2 colon 4, it is going to give you starting from the second index, which is 2 element, and the third index, the 3, which is 3, and it will stop at 4th. And as it used to happen with the string, the upper limit is always exclusive. The upper limit is always exclusive. When you write 1 colon 3, you will get 1 and 2. These are the two elements you are going to get. And when you write colon 4, it means starting from the 0 till the 4th index, so you are going to get 0, 1, 2 and then 3. These are the 4 elements you are going to get. Okay, so this is how the indexing and slicing works. Let us try this example here. So let us create a list of element like 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Okay, and 15. And then if I try to print L1, so first of all, if I try print L1, I'll get everything, right, the complete list. If I try to access the third element, which is 13, so I'll write like this, L1 of 3, and I'll get 14. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 14 is the third index element, right? Third index element. Okay, if you want to print the length of the list, you can use len, and then you can pass L1 over there. It is going to give you the length of that, so it is going to give you 5 because there are 5 elements in that, so 5 is the length. Okay, and now let's use the slicing. So L1, and then I am writing only colon. So if I write only colon, I am going to get the complete list. If I write 0 colon also, I am going to get the complete list. Then also I am going to get the complete list. If I write just colon, if I write 0 colon 2, then I am going to get 11 and 12. I am going to get 11 and 12. See, I am going to get 11 and 12. Why 11 and 12? Reason being is that 11 and 12, why? Because what is happening here is that when I'm creating the list 11, 12, 13, 14 and then 15, okay, 15, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am printing 0 and 2. So 0 and 1 will get printed, 2 it will stop, 2 is exclusive, this is exclusive, right? This is exclusive. Always remember that when you are writing a list like 0:2, the upper limit is always exclusive. It is never going to get into account. It will stop at that position. To stop at 2, it did not print 13, it printed only 11 and 12. Okay, this is how it works. And then if I write there 1:3, then I am going to get what? I am going to get 12 and 13. I am going to get 12 and 13. See, okay, like that it works. And if I write only ::-1, then let's see if it reverses the list, and it does reverse the list. See, I am getting 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. My list was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So ::-1, it is used to reverse a string also. The same thing is working over here. Okay, so I hope that you got a better understanding about list indexing and splitting. Now let's proceed further and let's talk about this only which we discussed. So we get the sublist of the string using the following syntax: the list variable, then you write start and then you put colon, then you put step and then you put colon, and then you write step. Okay, start, stop and step. The start denotes the starting index of the position, the stop denotes the last index position, and step is used to skip the nth element with a start to stop, within a start to stop. And this stop is always exclusive. Always remember that this stop is always exclusive. It is not going to get counted. Okay, so when you write ::-1, okay, from the beginning till the end in a negative way, right? -1, right? So it is printed the reverse, printed the string in the list in the reverse order. Okay, so look at this example and let's try to find the answer. So when you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these are the elements. When you're trying to print 0, you are going to get 1. When you are trying to print first index, you are going to get 2. 2, you are going to get 3. 3, you are going to get 4. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6 and then 7. The indexing is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This is indexing. Okay, this what I am writing is the indexing. Okay, this is the indexing part, 0. Okay, so when you write 0:6, what you are going to get? You are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you are going to get 6. And by default, the index value is 0. So it starts from the 0th element and go for index -1. So when you write colon, only colon, no starting, no endings, you will get the complete list. When you write 2:5, what you are going to get? You are going to get 2, starting from 2. So 3, 4 and then 5. It will stop at 5th index. So 3, 4, 5. This is what you are going to get here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and when you write 1:6:2, so it is going to give you starting from 1. So it is going to give you 2, 4 and then it is going to give you 6. This is what it is going to give you. Let's try with this one also. We did not try with this one. So let me add one more element over here. Okay, and 16 I'll write, and I'll write ::2 and then you see what happens. I'm going to get 11, 13 and 15. If I put 1 and then if I put the last one, which is the 6th one, and then I try to get, you see what I'm getting. I'm getting 12, 14 and 16 because now I'm starting from here. Okay, I gave 1 here, so it is starting from the first index. Okay, so this is how the list indexing and splitting works, and we have got almost the same answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what we got. Then we have we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what we printed. Then here it is going to print the complete list. This printed the complete list. Then 3, 4, 5 we had. 3, 4, 5 we had. It printed 3, 4, 5 and then 2, 4, 6. Why? Because 2, 4, 6. This is what we saw here. Why? Because we are giving a step of 2. Okay. So when you write list of 1 :6:2, in case you are not able to see the last item, I'm writing here. This is what I'm doing. List 1:. So this is the starting point, this is the ending point and the step. So from the first index, which is 2, then it will jump 2 steps. It will go into the third index, which is 4, and it will go to the 5th index, which is 6. Okay, this is how it is going to print. Now, and unlike other language, Python provides the flexibility to use the negative indexing also. The negative indices are counted from the right. They start from the right side, like -1, -2, -3, -4, like that. The last element, which is the rightmost element of the list, has the index -1 and its adjacent element is present at the index -2 and so on until the leftmost element are encountered. Okay, let us have a look here.
So here the forward direction indexing is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we have seen. The backward direction indexing is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. This is how the negative indexing works. Okay, so let's have a look at the following example where we will use the negative indexing. So we have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the elements that we have. So let's make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The indexing, the negative indexing will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So what we are printing is that list of -1. So when you are printing list of -1, which item will get? You will get 5, the last element. When you write -3, starting from -3 till the very end. So starting from -3 till the very end. So you will get 3, 4, 5. So here you are going to get 5 and here you are going to get 3, 4 and 5. And we write starting from starting position until the ending position. So you are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you write -3 and -1. So starting from here till here, this won't be included. So you are going to get 3 and 4. Let us match with the answer. 5, yes 5, and then we had 3, 4, 5, yes we had 3, 4, 5, then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we had 3, 4, we had 3, 4, right? If you also guess this answer, then you are having a better understanding. In case you did not guess the same answer, your answer was different than mine, then you try and run the program and check how does it work, how does the negative indexing works, okay? So as we discussed above, we can get an element by using the negative indexing also. In the above code, the first print statement returned the rightmost element of the list. The first print statement, this is this one, I wrote -1, so it gave me the rightmost element, which is 5, because the negative indexing starts from the right side, okay, always remember that. Normal indexing start from the left, but the negative indexing always start from the right side, okay. So now updating list value, how do you update a list? So lists are most versatile data structure in Python since they are mutable and their values can be updated using the slice and the assignment operator. You can update a list, okay? And Python also provides append and insert method which can be used to add values to the list. Let us have a look at that. So here we have list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what we are doing is that we are printing the list, so we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what we are doing is that we are writing list of 2 equal to 10. So list of 2, 0, 1, 2. So this item will be replaced by a value called 10. Okay. Then we are adding multiple item list 1 colon 3, 89 and 78. So first and second item will become 89 and 78. If you add a negative index equal to 25, it will print the negative index. So let's try this much first and then try to understand it. Okay. So here L1, and if I'll write here 3, L1 of 3 equal to 333, and then if I try to print L1, you see the new list will have 333 in that position. So 14 got replaced by 333. Okay, if I used something like 1 colon 3, and if I give here 1 colon 3, and if I give a value here list, if I make a list 333 comma 444, okay, and then if I try to print the list, see what I am getting. I am getting the first index and the second index item, which is 12 and 13 got replaced by 333 and 444. Okay, let us try to change 3 values but give 2 item and see what do we get. So here what happened is that it replaced what? It replaced 11, 33, 44, 44, but what happened is that after that the fourth one, since I did not specify, it removed that element. Now we do not have 14 itself, right, which was supposed to be there, because I am trying to update 3 values but I gave only 2 values here, right? Since I did not give the third value, it removed the third element. Okay, it removed the third element by itself. Okay, and if I remove the if I give a negative indexing, and if I give it a value like 999, so you will see that 16 has been replaced by 999. You see 16, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is coming like that, but 16 has been replaced by 999, which was 16 here. Okay, so this is how the values gets updated using the indexing. Okay, so this we already saw. Now proceeding further. Now the list element can be deleted by using the del keyword, and Python also provides us the remove method if you do not know which element is to be deleted from the list. Okay, so both the method are there. We have remove and delete. Sorry. Your del keyword, with the del keyword you can remove the list itself, and with the remove function you can remove a particular element. Okay, so let us have a look. Okay, we did not see the append and insert, right? So let's try to append a list. Okay, so here I will write list1 dot append, and I'll write 1 2 3. So what will happen is that 1 2 3 will get added at the list. Okay, and here I have to print the list also. I'll print L1, and okay, I did not print L1. Now I'll see here, you see 1 2 3 got added at the end. Okay, let us try to see with insert list L1 dot insert. Okay, so if I use the insert method, what it is going to give you is that it is going to give you supports index object integer. So let's try to just write 777 and then see what happens. Okay, then see what happens. So it is giving you an error, expected 2 argument got 1. Okay, so let's suppose that I try to insert it at the third index. Okay, at the third index, now you see what happened. If I try to print it, what happened is that I got 11 12 13 14 15 16 1 2 3, and then I got 3. Okay, so first I have to give the index. So let's give third index, and then here I write 777. Now let's try to check that. Now it is working. You see 11 12 13, and then in the third position 777 got inserted. The rest of the list got moved ahead. With the append function, what is happening is that with the append function it is adding at the end. Okay, adding the item at the end of the list, okay. And with the insert function, first you provide the index, and then you provide the item to be added. You remember that. Okay, you remember that item to be added. First you provide the index, which index you want to add and which item you want to add. Okay, so this is how it works, and I can make this as a string also. Inserted item. Okay, inserted item. Okay, and there I can write added item using append. Okay, item spelling is wrong, I'll correct that. And now you see here how I'm getting. Can you see inserted item, it came here, and added item came at the end. Okay, so this is how the list insert and append function works. Okay, so here you see updating the list value. Consider the following example to delete the list element. We have a list 1 2 3 4 5 6. We printed the list, then we are updating list 2 equal to 10. So here 0 1 2, so the third element will get replaced with 10. Then we are adding multiple element that we already saw, and then okay, this is, I guess this is the previous example that we have taken. Okay, so there was just mistake with the slide. Okay, and then what we are trying to do is that we are not using delete, but let's try to use the delete function. Let me show you here. Okay, let me show you here. So what I will do is that here I will write L1 dot delete. Okay, L1 dot delete. Okay, no, del keyword and then delete, like this it is going to work, del L1. And if then after that if I try to print L1, I'll get that it is not able to find that L1 is not defined. It is saying that, right? So this is how you delete a list. But let's suppose I want to remove. So I have a remove method, and it is going to give you the value. I want to remove 13 from the list. Let's see if it is removing that, and after that I'm going to print L1. Okay, so let's see if it has 13 in it. Now you see 13 is not there, 11 12, and then 14 15 16 is coming, right? So this is how you use the remove method, and this is how you use the del keyword. Del keyword is used to completely delete the list itself. Okay, it is not going to remove a particular item. With the del you can remove the complete list. Okay, so that's how it is going to work. So now proceeding further, so let's talk about Python list operation. So the concatenation and the repetition operators works in the same way as they were working with a string. So if you add list1 plus list1, the two lists will get added, right? Like you have L1 equal to 1 2 3 4, L2 is equal to 5 6 7 8, and if you try to add, the new list will come, which will become 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Multiplication, how it works, you see here repetition. The repetition operator enables the list element to be repeated multiple times. If you use L1 into 2, the same list will appear twice. Concatenation, it concatenates the list mentioned on either side of the operator. It means just bring them together. So L1 plus L2, L1 was having 1 2 3 4 and L2 was having 5 6 7 8. So the new list came, which became 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then we have membership. So it returns true if a particular item exists in a particular list, otherwise it returns false. So print 2 in L1. Now you see here in L1, which is 1 2 3 4, you have 2 there, so it is going to return you true. Okay, then we have iteration. The for loop is used to iterate. For I in L1, print I, so it is going to get through all the element. And then length, it is used to get the length of the list. L1 4, you will get the length of the string. So let us try to do that. Okay, let us have two lists, L1 equal to, and then 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, and then L2 equal to 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8. Okay, and then print L1 plus L2. Okay, so what it is going to give you is that it is going to give you a new list which is having all the element in it. If I write L1 multiplied by 2, so it is going to give me L1 2 times 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, right? And then if I write print 2 in L1, okay, it is going to give me true. Why? Because 2 exists. But if I change to L2, then it is going to give me false because 2 does not exist in L2, right? So this is how it is. Then if I try to find the length of L1, then it is going to give me 4 because both the lists are having 4 4, right? So L1 L2, you try any one of them, you are going to get 4 because both are having 4 element in it, right? So we checked all of them or we missed anyone. Iteration we missed. Iteration, let us try to talk about iteration. So iteration for loop for I in L1, and then if I try to print L1, sorry, not L1, if I try to print I, then it is going to give me all the elements. See, 1 2 3 4. If I want all of the value to be one after the another, so I have to use here end equal to and then space. Okay, and what it is going to give me is that it is going to give me like this in a horizontal way, okay, without changing the line. So this is how the list iteration works. Okay, so we have seen all the operations here. Now let's proceed further, iterating through a list. Let's talk about that in detail. So a list can be iterated by using a for loop. Okay, a simple list containing 4 strings which can be iterated as follows. So this list contains 4 strings: John, David, James and Jonathan. So for I in list, now the I variable will iterate over all the element of the list and contain each element in each iteration. So if I try to print I, am going to get an item like this. Okay, since we have already done this here, so let us try to understand this, and I'll change the value. I'll change the value to 11, 12, 13 and 14. Okay, and now here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a debugger point, and then I'm going to debug the program to show you that how actually the value of I will keep on changing. You see here, for the first time, okay, for the first time I is pointing to what? I is pointing to 11. Then next time I is pointing to 12. Then third time I is pointing to 13, and then for the fourth time the I is going to point to 14. So remember that this I here is not pointing to index. It is not pointing to index. No, I here is pointing to the item in the list. Item in the list. It is going to go through each item. Okay, it is going through each item one by one. Okay, it is going to go through each item one by one. This is how the list works in Python, and this is how we can iterate through it. Okay, which is very important because it is going to help you a lot when you have to go through the through other list item. Okay, so for I in list, the I variable will iterate over the element of the list and contain each element in each iteration. Okay, adding element to the list, Python provides append function which is used to add an element to the list. We have already seen that. However, append function can only add a value to the end of the list. We have already checked that, right? So here you see we have an empty list, declaring an empty list, and then we are asking the user n is equal to int input, enter the number of element in the list. And then what we are doing is that for I in range 0 to n, we are asking the user to add the element, and we are using append function. So the list, the elements will get added one after the another. And then we are printing the list using the for loop. Okay, so let us try and do this. This is a good example. Let us try to do this. So let's create an empty list, L equal to empty, and then let's have n equal to int, because we need to typecast since it is a number. Input, enter the elements of the list, enter the elements of the list, not enter the number of elements. We are asking the number of elements of the list, right? And since after he has given, then I'm going to run a for loop for I in range. You already know about for loop. We are going to use range function 0 colon n. Okay, and then here I am going to write, okay, I can take another variable. Let's suppose x equal to, I can take another variable int, or I can directly take input. Okay, if I take it as input, everything will become as a string. So if I write like int input and then enter the elements of the string. Okay, and here what I'm gonna do is that, why I'm getting an error here, what is the error? Expected bracket for I in range. The bracket is correct only. Okay, we'll see that, and then I'm going to write l dot append, and I'm going to add x to it. Okay, and then here what I'm going to do is that here I'm going to print for I in L, okay, and print I. Okay, this is the only thing, and I'm going to use separator and equal to so that I do not get in the new list. Now let's try to run it and check. So here it is again saying, okay, 0 comma it should be, no, it should be comma, right? 0 comma. Now if I run it, okay, it is asking me enter the number of the list. So I entered 5, and then I'm entering 1, and then I'm entering Vivek, and then I'm entering 3, and then I'm entering 4.567, and then I'm entering 90. And when I try to print the list, I'm getting 1, Vivek, 3, 4, 5.6, 90. Okay, so not necessarily that you should convert that into an integer, provided you are not concerned about the element list. Okay, now because you see there, if I try to print the item, a particular type of the item list of first index, it is going to give me a, it is going to give me what, it is going to give me, okay, so now here I have to repeat the whole thing. So here I'm making just 3, okay, and I'm giving 1, and I'm giving Vivek, and then I'm giving 3.14, and now you see here it is going to give me class str. It is a class str here. Can you see class str? So although I entered 1, it is a integer, but there it is getting stored as a string. Reason being is that I am using an input function, and input function by default takes everything as a string. So if you want that to be an integer, then in that case you should use int there, right? If you have that requirement where you want to make a list which is only of number, then better you make int there. Okay, so that was all about this program, and then we did this, we got the output also. Here we are making it as here we are just adding the item into the list without being converting into the without being converted into an integer. We are not typecasting it. Then removing element. So Python provide the remove function which is used to remove the element from the list. Here this also we have seen. So we have a list here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We printed the whole list. Then we are removing 2, and then we are trying to print the list. So we will get 0, 1, 3, 4 because 2 got removed. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because it removes. So remove function always removes the element. You do not provide an index there. So let us try to remove an element here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove this program, and I'm going to make a list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to trying to remove, okay, I'm going to trying to remove L dot remove, and I'm going to remove an element which does not exist, 5. Okay, or let me like here 1, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and let me try to give index 0. Let's see what it gives me. Can you see X not in list? List dot remove X, X dot not in list. So it doesn't take index, it always take the element. If I write 11, okay, and then I try to print L, I'm gonna get the exact answer. See 12, 13, 14. Why? Because it removed 11 from there. Okay, so remove function removes the element, it does not remove from a particular index, remember that. Now talking about Python list built-in function. So Python provides the following built-in function which can be used with the list. Let us have a look at that. So we have compare function. What it does is that it compares the element of both the list, and this method is not used in Python 3 and the ever version. It is not being used. Let us try to check that if it exists and if we can use. Okay, so here we have L. Let's make it as L1. Let's make it as L2. L2 equal to, and here also I'm gonna make 11, 13, 14 like that. Anything I'm giving, and then I'm writing print CMP. Okay, CMP. You see, you did not. If you saw that it did not come L1, L2. It did not come, and see I'm getting an error. See, I'm getting an error. CMP is not defined, right? So this method is not there. CMP L1, L2. This method is not there in Python 3 and above. In case you have a previous version, you can use that. Length we have already seen is used to calculate the length of the string. So if you have a length like this and you try to print the length of L1, you are going to get the length. Let us try and do this also. So here if I try to print, here I'll remove this. Okay, I'll remove this, and instead of CMP I'm going to write len of L1, and this program is going to give me the absolute fine result. It is going to give me 4 because this is what it is. Okay, 4 is the number of item there. Then we have maximum and minimum. Now maximum and minimum, it returns the maximum element in the list, and minimum will return you the minimum element in the list. Let us try to find that. So here if I write here maximum of L1, here if I write maximum of L1, and then if I try to print the minimum of L2, okay, I'm gonna get, in the first one I'm gonna get 14, and in the second one I'm going to get 11. Can you see 14 and 11? Because in list L1 the maximum is 14, and in the list L2 the minimum is 11. right? So I got 14 and 11. So max and min you can use to find the maximum and minimum. Then we have one more function which is an important one, list. Okay, it converts any sequence to a string. Okay, so let us try this out. So let's suppose that I have a str1 equal to Vivek, and then what I'm doing is that I'm writing I'm making L is equal to list, and I'm making str1 there, and then if I try to print L, you see what will I get? It will make a list out of that, out of all the character VIVEK. It made a list out of that sequence of that string. Okay, so this list is actually used to convert into a list. Okay, now let us have a look at example. So example 1, write a program to remove the duplicate element of the list. Now this is a very good example, this good question. So here you see we have list 1 which is having so many duplicate element, 1 2 2 3 5 98 65, 2 is 2 time, right? So now what we are doing is that we have created an empty list. Okay, and then we are writing a for loop. So for I in list L1, and then what we are doing is that I'm running a for loop, but here I'm using membership operator. If I not in list 2, if I does not exist in list 2, then only I'm adding list 2 dot append and I, and then I'll printing I list. So very simple way, in a very simple way we did this, right? In a very simple way we did this. So let's have a list. Okay, list 1 equal to, and then you have 1 2 2 3 34 54 56, and then 34 again, and then 34 again, and then 56 again, and then 45 again, and then 67 again, 67 again, 45. So I took some random element. Then I'll create another list 2 which is an empty list. I am creating list equal to list 2. I created just like that, list 2 equal to, and then I gave a empty bracket, so it is an empty list. So now for I in list 1, okay, for I in list 1, and now what I'm gonna do is that if I not in L list 2, then what I'm gonna do is that list 2 dot append, and then I'm gonna add I to it, and then if I try to print for I in list 2, okay, I'll try to print I, and then end, and then okay, end separator. Now you see if I run the code, see I'm getting 1 2 3 34 56 45 67. Here we had so many. Okay, and if I try to copy the same thing and I try to print list L1 also, okay, list L1 also, here I write 1, then you can see the difference, then how it is, right? You see the difference. Can you see it is having so many element in it? Okay, and here I'll just change the line, so I'll just make an empty print statement to change the line. Now you see it has so many, but now it is having no duplicate items are there. So in such a simple way we did this, such a simple way. Reason being is that it has so many operators that it makes our task easier. If you had to do the same thing in C++ or Java or Python, it would have taken some time. But here we just completed in couple of lines, right? How did I do that? First of all, I ran a loop, and then I ran a condition. If I not in list 2, if I, okay, it does not exist in list 2, then only you add it. If it already exists, then there is no point of adding it. There is no point of it being added. Okay, in case you want to understand how it is happening, so let me just debug the program, and then you see what happens. Okay, then you see what happens. Okay, so first of all, your I is going to point to 1. Okay, in 1 or 2 thing only we will understand that. In 1 or 2 example only we will understand that. Okay, what happened? It is not working. So let me start debugging once again, and let's see if it is reaching there, if it is hitting line number 4 or not. So it is taking some time to debug. It is taking some time to debug. Did I do anything wrong? Is the program working or not? Program is working absolutely fine, right? Then why it is not getting debugged? Maybe there the system became slow. The system should not be slow, or there is some error, but let's I am still in debugging mode, but let's go ahead and continue with the another example. So now the another example is that write a program to find the sum of the element in the list, which is a very simple one. 3 4 5 9 10 12 14. This is the list. We took a variable called sum equal to 0, and then for I in list, a simple iteration through the list element, write sum equal to sum plus I. So sum was 0, 0 plus 3, because I will point to 3, so it will become 3, 3 plus 4 will become 7, like that, and then at the end you print sum. This is such a simple and easy example, right? This is such a simple and easy example, and it's still not debugging. I'm not sure why it is not debugging. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a new file, okay, test1.py, and there I'm going to write this program. That program I'm still, I still left for debugging in case it is debugging. Or let me copy this program into a new file and try and debugging it. Maybe, hopefully it should work here. Okay, hopefully it should work here. Let's see if it is hitting the debugger point here. Is it hitting the debugger point here or not? Here also it is not hitting. If I keep the debugger point here and then try to run it, will it going to work? Will it going to work? Will it work? No. No. Maybe I'm missing out something or something. So let's go and so let's have the same list. Okay, and let's have the same list and write sum equal to 0, and then for I in list, okay, list 1, and then sum equal to sum plus I, and it is going to give you the sum. And if I print the sum, I'll get the sum. And it is such a large thing, so let me make it simple one. 3 4 5, so it is going to give you 15 now, right? See, I'm getting 15. If am I able to debug this program? Let's see if I'm able to debug this. So there is something wrong with the debugger, I believe. Let me close the Visual Studio and let me open it again. Okay, let me open it again. Let me go and open the Visual Studio and Python files, and let me open it again and see if I'm able to debug it now, because that program was a good one. I wanted to show you how I'm able to. So okay, let me start debugging with a simple one, and let's see if the debugger is hitting this one. Seems like it is going to hit. Yes, it is hitting. Now we'll go back to the same program which we were trying to, okay, the previous one, duplicate item. There, let's try to understand how it is working. Okay, again it is stopped. Again it did not work. Again it did not work. Let me close it again and open it one more time and see if I'll directly run this program only. I'll directly run this program only. Okay, I'll directly run this program only, and let's see if it is hitting it. Okay, let's see if I created a new debugger point also. It did not even ask me the debugger attacher. There is something wrong. Something wrong happened. Is it debugging in other cases? Is it debugging in this case? Or not a single program it is debugging? I guess not a single program it is debugging. There is something wrong with the debugger. Last attempt we will try. If it doesn't debug, then we will just move ahead. Simply we'll move ahead. Okay, I'll show you some other day. Seems like it is not going to work. So let's not waste time on this. Okay, and let's proceed further. The third example that we have is that write a program to find the list consists of at least one common element. What you have to do is that you have to find at least one common element in that. Okay, to see here we have two lists, list 1 and list 2. List 1 is having 1 2 3 4 5 6, list 2 is having 7 8 9 2 10. We can see that 2 is common, and then we are running two for loop here for x in list 1 and for y in list 2. If x equal to y, we are printing the common element. Again a very simple one, right? So let's go and write this program. Okay, I'll stop the debugger. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna write list 1 equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and then I'm gonna create list 2 which is going to have list 2 which is going to have 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 2. Okay, I'm having two elements common. And then for I in list 1, or for I in list 1, okay, and for j in list 2, and then if I equal to j, if both of them are matching, then I'm gonna print the common element is the common element is what? The common element is I. This is the common element. You print I or you print j, how does it matter? So you see the common element is 2, the common element is 5. It is printing you that. Okay, if you want only one common element, then you use a break statement after that. Once you have find that, you do not find for the another one. Okay, so let us try to debug this one. Let us try to debug this one. Is this working, or this is also not working? This is also not working. So there is something wrong with that, but I hope this is a simple one. You do not have to understand how the debugging is working. In this example, we are running a outer for loop which is going to go for, it is point to 1. Then the j will pointing to, the j is also j is pointing to 5. Then we are going to check 1 with j. 1 is equal to 5, 1 equal to 6, 1 equal to 7, 1 equal to 8, 1 equal to 2, nothing. then what will happen is that I will point to 2 now. I was 1, now I is pointing to 2, and j again will start pointing at 5. So 2 equal to 5, 2 equal to 6, 2 equal to 7, 2 equal to 8, 2 equal to 2. Yes, it is. So we are printing 2. Then what happened is that the j got over, so now I'll point to 3, I'll point to the third element, which is 3 itself here. So 3 is equal to 5, because j every time will start from the beginning. J will always start pointing to 5 itself, right? So this is how the program is working, and we are matching it. Okay, so somehow my debugger is not working. That is a sad news, but anyway, I'll fix it by the time we are making a next video. Okay, so now that's all in this video. So we discussed everything about list. We talked about list built-in functions. We talked about methods. We looked at the example. We talked about operations. I believe this much knowledge of list is good enough for you to proceed further, but that doesn't mean that you should not explore more. Keep exploring more to know more about the things. Okay, so that's all in this video. Thank you so much.